Hello there, everybody. I am a grateful. Welcome. My name is Dizzy, and I'm a grateful because I'm streaming Kerbal Space Program 2, and I've been talking for the last 7 minutes, and the stream failed to go live. So, everyone give me a big round of applause. Congratulations to me. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program. Haven't played in a week or so. If you're wondering why I'm hanging off the ceiling, ask chat. And I wanted to give everyone a sort of a rough idea. Oh my god, what the hell is that shadow? What the hell is that shadow? That's concerning. Yeah, I wanted to give everyone sort of an idea of what we might be doing today. So this is the Little Disk Carrier 2. This is my moon rocket. And what it does is it has some booster sections to get it to launch. It has a carrier stage that gets it into orbit, and then this all goes to the moon. With no landing legs at the moment because landing legs don't work. Hang on, that needs to be on there. Yeah, so this bit all goes to the moon. We land on these engines. We drop a little rover out of the middle, and that roves around on the surface. And theoretically, this all goes perfectly wonderfully according to plan. We've had 2 attempts, neither of which has gone perfectly wonderfully according to plan, it must be said. The first attempt, there were issues with the detachment of this stage and also with the landing legs that you'll see are not on this anymore. The landing legs was a bug. The problem with this stage was a mix of a bug and maybe my fault also. Don't fret too much about that. Is my sort of plan. But yeah, so you land on the moon, and then the rover drops out, and then the people up in here can sort of climb down and use the rover. That's the basic gist of this. And we know that this boy, on top of this rocket, can get to space, and he weighs 28 tons, apparently. This is good because I got this wrong when I was doing my first take by mistake. Never mind that, eh? Yeah, so he weighs about 28 tons, and he gets to space on top of that. Fairly handily, to be honest. We had more stuff in that central stage than we ended up needing. We also know that this boy, so this was our rescue version of the craft, it ditched the rover in the middle. Hang on. Boop. So it had a slightly improved version of this middle bit, which is more efficient. And it ditched the rover in the middle for this hitchhiker pod, which is for bringing the kerbals who we left on the moon home in. And we know that gets to space just about. And this guy weighs 29 tons. So we know that we can get something that's 29 tons into orbit. It might be a little sort of touch and go, but I think we ended up finishing the circularization burn just slightly on these engines. But it gets to orbit, is the point. So what I want to do now is I want to go back to our little disk carrier to load you up. And I want to make a modified version of this, where I strip off these tanks and engines, and replace them with... Where are we? Fuel tanks. Collapse that, collapse that, collapse that, collapse that. Replace them with hydrogen tanks. And the idea with the hydrogen tanks is we can put on the super duper efficient nerve engine. This boy. He's big and heavy, but he's very efficient. And hopefully, with those, we should be able to go interplanetary. but not if the workspace doesn't work. Yeah, so that's kind of the goal for what I sort of want to do today. Right, let's uncouple you. We're actually going to ditch that because I'm going to make a better one. I'm going to make the version that we have on our other ship. So, strip off you tanks. Strip off you tanks. Now, I'm thinking that where I want to go is Eve. There's a few reasons why Eve. Perhaps the main reason why Eve is because it's got a nice little lovely atmosphere. Now you can't really ever take off from Eve because of the atmosphere, but if you just want to drop something onto the surface, the atmosphere should theoretically make it really, really easy. So, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to reassemble this. Okay, hang on a sec. Right, so hopefully now I've made this thing. Oh. Oh, okay. Doesn't like that. Okay, it's fine. It might be fine. I had a cunning plan, which was I was just going to flip this over, and that would make everything work. But I don't think my cunning plan has succeeded. Why is this an invalid anchor? Alright, okay. Oh, actually nothing's working. Okay. Hang on a sec. Let's load this up again. This is the wrong version. The VAB is a little buggy, it must be said. What I'm hoping not to have to do is make this whole thing again from scratch. I really don't want that. That would be really bad. Build this carrier too. Load up. Okay. So let's try this again. We detach you and bin you. We detach you and bin you. We detach you and bin you. We grab you, put you there, because we want this. Oh, we actually want that to be different anyway. We want this to be on there. Okay, I've got a new plan, which is if I make that the assembly anchor. No, okay, I can't make that the assembly anchor. In fact, I can't change assembly anchor at all, it seems. This is unhelpful. Okay, so the VAB is being a little bit buggy, which is unfortunate. Yeah, because what I was hoping to do was flip this over. But I guess I'll have to do it a different way. Right. So then this. Okay, no, we have to leave the VAB. Maybe I just can't use the assembly anchor button anymore. That seems to be the case. Well, we'll go in and start again from here. Alright, strip you off. Strip you off. Strip you off. Okay, we're taking off this section. We're taking off this section. And binning that. Down you come to there. Oh no, hang on, you need to be underneath the heat shield. I'm gonna re-enter you. You need to be under the heat shield. Boop. Alright, so no, I don't want to do that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this off. And do that. Then we're gonna take this and do that. Actually, we're not yet, because... Huh. That's done something interesting. Okay, I don't know what happened there. It was weird. What I want to do is I want to take off these seats, because this is not going to be a manned lander. This is an unmanned lander, because if we put people on it, they're not coming home. So I'm taking those off, and the plan is to find the radial mount parachute. Okay, these are the only radial mount parachutes. Can I put two of you on here? Like, say, that. Yes, I can. Fantastic. So that should be more than enough to slow this little boy down. And then we're going to take him. And we're going to clip him like that. Alright, and what we need in the middle of this is not a decoupler, which is what I'd normally do, but a stack separator. So a stack separator, so a stack decoupler explodes one side and attaches to the thing that falls away. We want a stack separator so that it attaches to neither the thing that I'm coupling off or the other bit. I think our rover has done something funky when we turned it upside down. It has. I'm not sure quite why. Because I want you to be that way up. So that your wheels... Oops. Are pointing upwards. Like that. There we go. Or do I? Hang on a sec. Sorry. I'm not quite smart enough to figure out which way things are going to be pointing. So the idea is that this needs to enter bottom first. So no, actually this needs to be that way up. Yeah, okay. No, I don't need to do that. Yeah, you need to couple them like that. There we go. So now we're going to stick a heat shield on the bottom. Thermal, medium, heat shield. And what my basic plan is the upper stage, including the side engines, is going to aero capture around Eve using this heat shield to save off, like, from burning itself and exploding. And then, once we've aero captured, when we go back up to the apoapse of our new orbit, I'm going to separate this bottom section, and the very top with the kerbals in it will circularize, and they'll be in Eve orbit. And this bit is going to dip back down into the atmosphere again, and over one or maybe two orbits is going to land. And then once we're finished sort of with the heat protection, we jettison this using this separator. We jettison this cover, and just the rover falls down to the surface on parachute. That's the idea. Is it a good idea? Maybe. We'll see. But that's the idea. We are going to call this the Little Disk Carrier I for interplanetary. Actually, we're going to have a lowercase I, because that sounds more futuristic. Alright, so let's go about... oh, I've accidentally tabbed out. Let's go about slapping some tanks on the side of this thing and see how it goes. So I want small size tanks. Is this really the only small size tank we have? That's not good news. That's not good news at all. Engineers report. Okay, well, we're not too heavy just yet. So these are the drop tanks. Really? Oh, Jesus, okay. I don't know why there isn't a shorter tank. But there we go. Oh, we have a first time chat. Welcome to Frank Mendez 01, who says Ecuador in the space. Does Ecuador have any space stuff? I assume it sort of doesn't, because I mostly only think of like a few space agencies that I know of. But I really don't know. It certainly would be cool if more people were in space. Like, let's say, Ecuador. Alright. Okay, so seeing as these are the only side tanks we have access to, I guess I'm gonna pop some on the side here. And then we're going to avoid the problem that we had before by taking this guy and moving him out just slightly. I'm going to put a part in between, which looks like it'll hold it together, even though it actually doesn't hold it together. Where are you? Hang on a sec. Oh, I should make sure that I've actually attached these to the right thing. There we go. That's important. That's very important. Right. Truss, baby truss. Oh, this is a bit tricksy. There we go. Okay, so now it looks like they're attached. I want to... I'm very confused by why this is saying it's so light. I was definitely expecting this to be a lot heavier by this point in time. How much do these weigh? Hang on a sec. So I had the 400s. They weigh 2.25 and 4.5 tons. Versus these hydrogen tanks. Oh wow, these are super duper light. Huh. Okay, I might need significantly more of these then, considering how light they are. Because if they're light, that means they don't have very much fuel in them. Okay, I need engines, hydrogen engines. I want you not on the ones that are on decouplers, but on the ones that are not on decouplers. So that's 20 tons. That has not much in the way of delta V. If I add on the fuel lines from the drop tanks to the not drop tanks, that doesn't change how much delta V it thinks it has. Okay, fantastic. I might need to be bringing more hydrogen with me, I think. How can I fit one of these on here? This is about the right mass that I was sort of looking for. If I stick these on top, it'll give me a better delta V calculation, right? 3,000 meters per second. That's probably far enough. I've got a trip planner from Kerbin to Eve. Okay. So it reckons to get round trip. So it reckons about sort of 1400 to get to Eve. We don't need to think about the surface stuff. So about 1400-ish to get to Eve, it reckons. A little bit more to circularize. We don't necessarily need to think about that just yet. And then I guess it's going to be the same on the way back, right? So, in theory, we have way more than we need in these tanks. Whereas if I just use the small ones again, it reckons we only have 17, or 1800 rather. Okay, so let's definitely go for these then. Bop. Okay, and then we need to add on our aerodynamic caps, although I don't know if it matters, because these, for some reason, these tanks are like unshielded on the sides. I don't know why that is. That's definitely not a great idea, whoever thought of that. You'll have to forgive me while my brain works out where I'm going. Aerodynamic nose cone. Medium nose cones. I don't think I've used the medium nose cones before. Oh, we also want some small nose cones on there. There we go. Did I actually remember to take off the seats on this version? Oh my god, we'll never know. Hang on. Yes, I did. Okay, fantastic. We might actually also need some more heat shields on the undersides of these. Technically, heating hasn't been implemented yet. Well, these are heavy boys. These are very heavy boys. Oh, I don't want the parts manager. I want the engineer's report. Okay, so this is a bit heavier than I was really hoping for with those heat shields. I suppose part of the question is, are we expecting heating on our aero capture? And the answer is I have no idea at all. No idea if we should be expecting heating on that. Because we have an alternative option, which is the inflatable heat shield, which does that. It blows up so that you can cover a much larger rocket. That would be slightly awkward in terms of like how you fit everything under it, but it's a lot lighter than 3 of these. In fact, 4 of these, because we could even replace this one with it. Pop you there. Right. Shield extend just to see where you go. Can we fit this inside? Answer: no, not really. Okay. Is there anything we can do to move this down? Answer: probably still not really. Well, that's not true. We can stick another, like, fuel tank or something on the bottom, I guess. I was certainly hoping not to do so. But I'm worried about our mass if I don't. This rocket also looks like a hideous mess from on top, but that's normal. That often happens with Kerbal Space Program. I guess we're just going to go with the extra mass and pray. Is the gist of it. Where's our fuel tanks? Now, the fuel lines sometimes work and sometimes don't, so we may have to do, like, in-flight refueling. That happens fairly often. I do actually also want to make these a little bit longer. Just so that I know for definite. So I can see the arrows that say which way the fuel is flowing. Not that I don't trust these things, but I don't trust them. Okay, so this is our interplanetary stage, right? If it looks daft, that's because it is. From here, coupling. Stack decoupler. We want regular decouplers now. So before we had a sort of a slanty rocket design. I should also save this again. Save. Yeah, so before we had like a slanty design to the side tanks. This time we're going to have a not slanty design to the side tanks, just because they're attaching to something that's bigger. Fuel tanks. Right, we now want regular metalox, and we want one of the big medium ones. Why is this out of order? Why have we got small, medium, large, smallest? Oh. Okay. Right. Stick that underneath. And then we want the skipper underneath this. Skipper engine. And then we want... So before, we had one of these, which is 7.3 tons. And one of these. What's the closest we've got to a 7.3 ton tank? That is medium all the way along. I guess it's this boy. Okay, we'll have you, and then you. But there. And then the engine underneath that we want is the mainsail! The Omega large boy to end all boys, basically. And we want to... Scroll down? I'll do scroll down. There we go. We need to add fuel lines on this to do what's called asparagus staging. Boop. To there. And then we also want struts. Oh, ow, I've just punched the microphone, sorry. Struts to hold the whole thing together. Strut. So we want a strut on this bit up here to hold it to this middle section. Boop. And then we want another strut down here to hold that bit in place so that nothing falls off and kills us. And so these bits don't smack into this middle body of engine, which would be really bad. That would be atrociously bad, actually. That's the basic gist of our rocket that we want. Where's this boy? Little disc carrier eye. Save. I'm gonna open up our little disc carrier rescue. There's the rescue one. Little disc rescue. Load that up. Just to make sure that I'm using the same amount of tanks and stuff. Does look like it. I'm worried that with the extra air resistance of the larger drop tanks, this might struggle. I'm slightly worried about that. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is check the staging, because staging is where this all lives or dies. So the first thing we want to do is activate all 4 of these engines. Okay, so they're all burning at once. Because of this fuel line, the fuel should theoretically only be draining from these stacks. These stacks will empty when we're fairly high in the atmosphere, not if the last one's to go by, and then we'll just be carried to orbit on this middle engine. Okay, so we ignite them all together. The next thing we want is to drop these 3 booster tanks. So we're just left with this middle engine at this stage. The next thing we want is when this stage runs out, we want to drop this bit. So far, so good. Then we need to activate our nervers. That's correct. Okay, the next thing after activating the nervers that we want is we will want to... So the nervers should theoretically carry us all the way to Eve and to aerobraking. And I don't think we'll have expunged these drop tanks by then. Once we've done that, once we've got to Eve, the next thing we want to detach is this. Boop. Okay. And so we detach this, and this will lead to a separate section that is controlled by the probe body inside. That's a separate section that should control itself, and the only thing in there should be this decoupler, which will fire once we're through the hot part of the atmosphere, and then these. So that should be fine. Once we've decoupled this, the nervers circularize. At some point we lose the drop tanks. Then where's the separator? Have I missed the decoupler? I think I have missed a decoupler somewhere. Hang on a sec. Oh, I've attached you to something terrible, haven't I? Yeah, I have. Okay, it's a good job we caught that, because that was nearly a disaster. Just take you off for a sec. Those were attached to this separator. We don't want those attached to this separator at all. Okay, I'm gonna have to take off all of the fuel lines and struts, because they will break anyway. And if I don't take them off now, I will forget where they are. Oh, some of them have already broken anyway. Fantastic. Just makes my life so much harder. I don't know where those struts have gone. Okay, we may be carrying around some excess strut, but we don't need to. But I can't fix the problem because I can't find them. Okay, we need to take these off. Hang on a sec. Because they're attached to the wrong bit of the rocket. Right, so that separator separates off everything there. I actually want heat shield and then decoupler. Where is it? Separators. So this decoupler, bop, and then the engines will be attached to this very thin middle bit, is the idea. So that we can then kick off the engine stage. And we'll do that only when we're returning to Kerbin, and then we're just landing this pod. That's the idea. Structural truss. That go. So you're attached there. And then you attach yourself in there like that. There we go. We're going to probably have to fix the staging again at the end of this. But that's fine. Right, back to fuel tanks. Fuel line. Need a fuel line from you to you. And from you to you. And we need struts. Nope, that's not a strut, that's not a fuel line. Struts from you to, let's say, you up there. And another strut from you to you. There we go. Okay. Right, so no, we definitely don't want that. So this needs to be, we need a new stage like up here-ish. For this decoupler to go in. Right, so we got main engines, and then separate the boosters, and then we separate the carrier stage, ignite the nervers. We separate the lander stage, which has its own thing inside it. And separately we can ditch the drop tanks when we need to, and then we can finally land just the capsule on chutes. There is one more thing which I want to add, which is solar panels. I would like to add some retractable solar panels somewhere where they won't hit anything on this upper stage. And that is going to be a problem, because there's quite a lot of things on this upper stage. Because we're going into sort of super deep space, I guess we are gonna have to do 3 times symmetry and put them on the outside of something, aren't we? That's not ideal, but it's okay. Ah, we have a Boom Boom. Welcome. Hi there. You say OMG finally. Has there been issues with the stream that I've been unaware of? No, let's have the long ones. There we go. Been here a full 20 minutes with no chat connection. Oh no, what a disaster. Well, it's lovely that you're here and able to chat now. What do you think of my mission plan? Literally just chat. Oh, disaster. Basically, I'm doing sort of the thing that we failed to do twice beforehand, but now interplanetary. I don't know if this is gonna work. Little disc carrier I. There we go. The only thing left to do, I think, is to put it in space. Which sounds like a terrible idea, but we have been working on this for a full hour. Alright, we've got Jebediah Kerman. I should probably actually, hang on a sec, Vert VAB. I should probably put some more Kerbals into it. More than just Jeb, so he's not taking this whole trip on his own. Boomer says, I'm not a spaceonaut, I'm sure everything will be fine. I mean, if everything goes horrendously wrong, we can always click the revert to VAB button. That's always an option that we have, unless we quick load, in which case it's no longer an option that we have. Okay, hang on. Kerbal Manager. Alright, Jeb, you're taking Sonsei and Jerba Kermans. And you're going to Eve. And you're gonna drop a little rover on Eve. Okay. You're not going to land on Eve. Understood? If you do try and land on Eve, oh, you're not in there. You will probably survive because I have a parachute. But you're not supposed to. You won't be coming back. Let's put it that way. Okay. So, save again. This carrier I, save. Right. Launch. Oh my god, this is such a disaster. Look. Oh. I mean, there's nothing for it. Oh. We're up! We're going. We're flying. We probably don't need quite that much throttle. Throttle down just a little bit. The sea is missing, which is a good start. Maybe that's why we're exploring interplanetary space. Okay, we can throttle down a little more than that even. So we don't need to be going too fast too early, because we will... Oh, the simulation is running a little slow. The graphical quality is not good. Oh, you know why the graphical quality is so bad? Hang on a sec. The graphical quality is so bad is because I've got Firefox open, running in the background. That's probably not helping. Okay. Back to flying. Oh, the tanks look black now. Interesting. Well, I'm fairly confident that you're going to survive this launch, gang. You're up out of the worst bit of the atmosphere as well, so we can throttle all the way up. We're gonna start a turn soon. Like now. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. That didn't go super according to plan. Okay. The rocket was not quite stable enough for that turn. You might not be going to space today, gang. No, okay, this rocket is not stable enough. Okay, let's hit the old revert to VAB button. We could once you've spent that long flying around in the air, you're not getting to where you're supposed to be going to. It's just a case of like detaching everything and landing if you want to. So, okay. How do we make you more stable? Boom says, what goes up must get Thanos snapped out of the atmosphere. That's not the ideal. See, you can put fins on it. I don't like putting fins on the rockets, but like you can. Hello? Can I... Yeah. Just a small fin? Wingspan. Oh, okay. Not like that. Route length. There we go. Bimbo says more fin better. There must be like a justification for when it is and isn't good to use fins on your rocket, but I don't really know what that justification is. So I'm using the minimum amount of fin possible. Because the thing about fins, the main thing I know about fins, is that they obviously create lots of drag, because that's how they work. And they're also like added weight that you don't necessarily want either. So if you can do without fins, you should. And when I launched the versions of this rocket previously, we did have some wobble issues during the turn, but I didn't use fins. Okay. This is taking a little while to load up. I'm sure this is fine. I'm sure the ominous drum music is not a problem. Game? Game, are you with me here? Game? I know I'm hanging off the ceiling and I don't seem like the most serious astronaut ever. Okay. We might have... I think the game is stuck. I'm just going to close that. Don't mind me, we'll be back in a moment. I may also have just tried the turn too aggressively. Is the other thing. Maybe I should try again without fins, but with a gentler turn. It says surely the ceiling hang is fundamental for astronaut training. I don't think it's that. It's fundamental for like rocket flying, and it's certainly not fundamental for the rocket design part of the process. All right, loading. We've got tips and status. And the game is maybe not responding. I may have busted it. No, okay, we're back. We're back. We've got music and everything. It's fine, everything's fine. Single player. Busy on stream. Load game. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know where we're loading from, by the way. I assume it will have kept our saved vehicle, but I don't know that. Okay, we started in the VAB. Everything seems to be more or less as we left it. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with this. Let's go. Oh, I didn't check to see if I've got the fins on the bottom. We might not be able to launch this rocket. The game might have just decided no on this one. It might be the fins. It might be the fins. Maybe it's really struggling with the procedural wings. Because I've not used them before. So maybe the game really just can't handle them. It's seeming more and more likely. Hello? See, I get little bloops when I push buttons. Everything is broken? Everything might be broken. Alright, let's close that down again. We're going to try one more time. I'll take the fins off if I haven't already. And we'll see if I can get it onto the launch pad without fins. And if not, then we will maybe fire up something else that is less broken, and we'll wait for that patch that's coming in like 4 days' time. Oh, interestingly, OBS tells me that it's not showing you the Kerbal Space Program 2. There we go. Okay. Load game. Early access games, you gotta love them. You are legally required to love them. No, this is the version without fins. Double check that there's no fins in the parts list. No. Wait, hang on. Aerodynamics. Aero, there we go. Yeah, no fins. Okay, we'll try Genefield and Jedson. Maybe Sonsei and Gerber are just too shy. Try a different launchpad as well. There we go. I've never launched from Launchpad 2 before. I'm not used to there being a Launchpad 2. This is new. Oh, my bitrate's going through the floor. Okay. I'm guessing this is not good news. And I'm guessing that we are actually not going to be going to space today at all, which is a big shame, having spent an hour building a rocket to then get one sort of 5-minute flight where we don't even break the atmosphere out of it, and then the game to be stuck is a bit sad. I suppose, to be fair, everything was broken beforehand. See also missing oceans and hydrogen tank textures. So perhaps it shouldn't be a super duper surprise. Boomer says, didn't break the atmosphere, did break the game. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm assuming when I get my bitrate like troughs, that's when my PC is obviously working on something. So maybe it is trying to load it in, it's just not succeeding. Do-do-do. Okie dokie. Well, I think this isn't going to work. So I think that we're probably going to call a halt there to KSP2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the VOD up in post-processing, and I'm going to come back and we'll probably play some more Call of the Wild. If you're watching here on Twitch, don't go anywhere. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for being around. I hope you've enjoyed the rocket building video and not the rocket flying video. And I hope to see you next time.